Welcome to Monster Territory, everybody. Brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Man, oh man, the Red Sox just got the Yankees number this year. I don't know what else to say. They're 7-1. They've already won the season series. What else do we got to do? It's kind of reminded me of the almost like the Boston Massacre back in 2006, but it's the other way around. I don't know. My goodness, the Red Sox, they're just taking it to town against the Yankees this year. They've done it offensively, and tonight they did it with some great pitching behind Brayan Bello. My goodness, Brayan Bello, if you want to talk about someone that has the Yankees number, who else is there than Brayan Bello? Coming into tonight, 9 starts, ERA at a 2.21, 7 shutty tonight. Garrett Whitlock Chapman holding it down behind him. Very tight game. Another classic Red Sox-Yankees game here tonight. Close all the way through. You're on the edge of your seat the entire time. We even had a squirrel tonight, for crying out loud. You just had it all here tonight. But really, a pretty uneventful game, minus the squirrel. In all honesty, there was really nothing going on. Bello was great. Max Fried, he was solid for the Yankees here tonight. But in the end, the Red Sox found a way to prevail, and they just got this figured out here against the Yankees this year. The Red Sox pitching staff, one of the big talking points over the last couple of weeks has been this bullpen, and luckily you've been able to go to Chapman and Whitlock the last couple of nights, but this bullpen's been tremendous. And we saw the bullpen have a tough time against Baltimore not too long ago. And tonight, the Red Sox pitching staff, it was just fantastic. Only 3 hits allowed. The Yankees had not one runner in scoring position tonight. I don't know if anyone else realized that. Like, that kind of... It's funny because I'm watching it tonight and I'm watching everything happen. And it dawns on me as I'm, getting ready for the show. I'm like, the Yankees not once had a runner in scoring position. My potato brain definitely gets the best of me sometimes. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting a moment, but I am pretty sure that there was not one. Man, oh man. Connor Wong. How about Connor Wong? The hero here tonight. Connor Wong had all the troubles in the first half, and sure, he's not ripping the cover off the ball by any means, but give a lot of credit to him tonight, coming through in a big way. Listen, I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but I think the Red Sox won the Mookie Betts trade. I'm just saying. Connor Wong, the hero tonight, but he couldn't have done it without Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe continues to be fantastic. What a pickup this has been. Yes, it's only been a few games here. Listen, we've seen many times over the years where, you pick up a guy. We saw it with Toro. I'm not saying Nate Lowe is going to end up being like that, but it's easy to get excited when a newcomer to the Red Sox is off to a hot start. Things are going great. But listen, with Nate Lowe, with the experience he has, with the track record that he has, I'm confident that this guy's going to continue to be solid for the rest of the season for the Red Sox. What a tremendous pickup he's been. Getting it started there in the 7th inning, getting another clutch base hit, or a double in this case, putting himself in scoring position for Connor Wong to do the damage. And even in the 9th, the Red Sox, we'll get to the inning by inning here in just a little bit, but even in the 9th, moving the runners over on a deep fly ball to left, Nate Lowe, every at-bat just seems to be productive with him. You got to love it. But I see you in the chat. Money Mike Madness. Bello was amazing. Bello was amazing here tonight. You got to love it. We'll get to his breakdown here in just a second. But we got some other things happening here tonight. Not just the squirrel, not just Connor Wong, not just Nate Lowe, not just Brayan Bello dominating, but we had Justinson Garcia, the password, debuting. Not the worst debut, and a few strikeouts, but he had a walk here tonight. Maybe he can thank the squirrel for that one. That was when it happened. I don't know. But overall, pretty much it for that game here tonight. I know we're all excited. Obviously, it's a big win, but there's just not really a whole lot to talk about. I will say here, the Red Sox tonight against Fried, they kept the pressure on, just like last night. They had a lot of runners in scoring position. They had a lot of opportunities last night. And in the end, they did prevail. And the same thing here tonight. They were 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. So they kept the pressure on. It's when you lose a game, it's easy to go look at that line and be like, oh, see, well, we can't score with runners in scoring position. But then in a win, you could look at it the other way around where you're keeping the pressure on, right? So kind of funny how the brain works with you. or works against you like that, right? But, hey, for the Red Sox, they did well here tonight. Again, you had more opportunities to get some runs across the board. It didn't have to be that close in the end if you would just come up in a couple of spots, but it is what it is. Seeing a lot of familiar faces here in the chat. And God's Gift, Mike, I see you. Volpe throwing to second, trying to get the force out. What was going on with Volpe? This Yankees defense, man, there's been a lot of talk over. I mean, honestly, I feel like you've been talking about this now for feels like a few years. I mean, it feels like it's such a hot topic for this year, but I feel like we've heard about the Yankees and fundamentals for what feels like at least 4 years now. I mean, I feel like I was hearing this 2021, 2022. I don't know. Maybe it's just back on the hot seat where people want to talk about it again because the Yankees have been struggling. But I mean, you're kind of seeing that here, like with Volpe here tonight. Making that throw. But in the end, he did make up for it. He threw out Duran at home. And, so that ended up saving a run. Didn't matter in the end, but it is really interesting seeing the Yankees having all the errors last night. They had 4 errors overall. And then tonight, just, a mishap like that ended up not being a big deal, but it's interesting. It's interesting. But everybody, before we do break this one down, again, it's not going to be a long show here tonight. There's not a whole lot of game to talk about. Only really one run here to talk about, and Brayan Bello. He was amazing. But we do have Walker Buehler to talk about. And it's funny. I was talking last night. I was talking about it last night, saying how Buehler, every single start, it's different pitches. It's a ton of different pitches every single time. He leads with a pitch every single time. And today, or he leads with a different pitch every single time. And then today, he actually talked about that with Rob Bradford. And I hate to say I told you so. I mean, I think most of us probably knew anyway, but Buehler basically talked about that. We'll talk about his quotes here in a little bit, but Walker Buehler is going to the bullpen. I'll give you my thoughts on that at the end of the show here tonight. We did talk about it last night about who could possibly step into the rotation. Nothing announced as of right now. We did talk about that last night, so if you want to go catch out that segment of the show, go ahead. It's right there in the replays, but we'll touch on that again tonight. So everybody, if you can, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. We picked up a lot of subscribers in last night's show. I want to say thank you to all of you that came out to last night's show. That was fantastic. We had around 250 people the entire time. We kept steadily climbing, and we never had a dip really at all. Even during the ads, we didn't even have dips. So I do want to thank all of you for even during those. You stick around. I appreciate all the support. So let's get to it here, everybody. Let's get to it. Speaking of, let's get to one of our sponsors tonight. We got some friendly friends helping out. I'll be right back. The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear, and the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you've never bet on baseball before, well, it's simple. You pick a guy to go yard, you hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Alrighty, Brayan Bello. Man, oh man, what a night here for Brayan Bello. Let's get to it here. Leading with the sinkers, the cutters, the change-ups tonight. Only in the zone 45% of the time, so it wasn't like he was a strike-throwing machine by any means. He wasn't really walking any guys. Let me make sure I have that right. I believe it was just the one walk tonight. It was the one walk tonight. So, but he was around the zone for the most part. He was getting whiffs along the way. He was getting whiffs on all of his pitches here tonight. It wasn't really just one pitch that he was dominating with. He was getting strikeouts on quite a few different pitches here tonight. He was getting the weak contact. He was getting a couple of double plays along the way in the third inning. He got Rice on the double play in the sixth inning. As you start getting later in the game and you start getting those runners on board, you kind of start to worry if, maybe they could break through. But Bello getting the big double play there. Wells had the base hit. Story helped him out big time. Grisham had the line out to Story, and then Story with a heads-up play, throwing out Rice, or throwing out Wells, sorry. So huge double play there. Had a 1-2-3 to end his night in the seventh. Overall, 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned, 5 Ks, and a walk. I mean, the guy just continues to just be fantastic. I mean, the step forward that he's taken this year, you've seen the promise with him. You've seen that upside with him. You've seen him go out there at times and just cruise and just dominate. And then there's other times where he has trouble, I'm talking about, not in the last couple of months, but before this year, not able to get out of the fifth inning. Well, we were seeing that earlier in the year as well. Not being able to go deep into games, not really being able to, find a strikeout pitch. But this year, even though the strikeouts aren't really up at all, he's right around 6 to 7 strikeouts per 9. Not exactly a high number, but he's allowing that defense to work behind him, and he's pitching more to contact. He's pitching more confidently to contact, and it felt like before he was always just trying to get the strikeout, and instead he's just kind of trusting what he's got, and he's letting the guys behind him do the work. And you got to love that with Bello, man. Got to love that. At such a young age where, these guys, they want to be going up there and trying to strike guys out left and right. And Bello, I love that he's just embraced letting that defense take over behind him. Got to love that. Big step forward for him. And he just continues to pitch well against the Yankees. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I said in the beginning of the show, coming into tonight, 9 starts, ERA at a 2.21. And actually, Rob Bradford, he retweeted something here. Someone actually put out the updated ERA. Taking a look here. We had from JP Long at Sox Notes. Brayan Bello has the lowest ERA against the Yankees this century. A minimum of 50 innings pitched. Brayan Bello, 1.95 ERA. It's kind of funny. The next two guys are Ryan Yarbrough and Chris Bassett. So it's like, what? So, hey, of all the guys that have gone up against the Yankees over the years, you look at Pedro back in the day, how much he dominated them. But Bello, man, oh man, he's fantastic. But gotta love it. We gotta love it. He just keeps on cruising. Like the old saying goes around here with Brayan Bello, Bello being Bello. You gotta love it. So let's move on here. Let's get to how the Red Sox pulled this one off here tonight. Like I said, they had a lot of chances. A lot of chances in this one here tonight. A lot of runners in scoring position. They had a very tough time against Fried. He only gave up, let me double check, just in case. I feel like I made a typo. No, I did have it correct. 4 hits, 7 strikeouts. He did walk a few along the way, but Fried really held it down here tonight. First inning, Bregman had the base hit. Fried with the wild pitch, moved him over, but you weren't able to do anything with him. Third inning, Nate Eaton, he walked, ended up getting caught stealing. They challenged the play. It got reversed. Romy had the walk. Bregman with another base hit. Good night for Bregman here tonight. I believe 3 for 4 on the night. Yes, 3 for 4. Bregman was getting on base all night. But then Roman Anthony, Roman with the big home run last night, and not really able to do much here tonight. You had Romy batting. Listen, I mean, I don't know, man. Anytime Roman is in the leadoff spot, this guy just dominates. At this point, I would like to see Roman lead off against the lefty. I think that's the next thing we got to see. Let's get Roman in the leadoff spot against the lefty. But he went 0 for 4 tonight with 3 Ks. Maybe that ended up being the better idea anyway. I don't know. Romy did get on base at least here tonight, so never mind. But fourth inning story with the strikeout. Then the squirrel emerged. Delay of game, not rain, not lightning, not thunder, but a squirrel. And then Joe Stinson, the password Garcia, getting on, had the walk. Duran ground out, moved him over to the second base, but Seti with the ground out, couldn't do anything. Fifth inning, Wong, big night for Connor Wong. Final line for Wong tonight, 2 for 4 with the RBI. Wong with the base hit, Bregman with the base hit, but then Roman grounding out. But then in the seventh inning, you're able to come through. Nate Lowe with the big double, Connor Wong with the big knock. Got a double himself. 1-0. That was all you needed. They almost added on in the ninth. David Bednar came in. Duran got on base again. He walked, stole second. 21st steal of the year. And this is what we were just talking about. I was looking at in the chat. Said he had the ground ball to Volpe. And then instead of just getting the out at first, I don't know if he just didn't fully have his eye on Duran or if he just thought he was going to, I don't know how far off. Maybe he just misjudged it. I don't know what happened, but he tried throwing him out at second. It looked like just a brain fart. It really just looked like that because there wasn't a force. So it was it was very interesting. I think he might have forgotten that Duran stole. I think he thought Duran was still on first base. Oh man, I don't know what happened on that one. But Volpe ended up throwing out Duran at home anyway. Wong ended up stealing second base, but then Massa with the ground out. So, but Whitlock, Chapman, locking it down. Chapman with his 24th save on the year. Red Sox win. Gotta love that. So, let me see what you're all saying here in the chat. TD, Bello's pitching like mini Pedro. You know, I remember... I always like the nickname. It's a fun nickname, but I remember, you know, if you go back over the last couple of years, I almost started to hate that nickname because it felt like that's not who Brayan Bello is. You know, Brayan Bello, it's, you know, when you think Pedro, you're thinking of the velo, you're thinking of the nasty stuff, the change-ups, the curves, right? He was racking up strikeouts, but Bello is not that guy, you know, and I'm glad that Bello has found himself, you know, and he's, I don't, you know, I find the nickname fun. Little Pedro, of course, it's fun, but I'm glad Bello is just being Bello. That's what I like. He's not trying to be Pedro. I think maybe before he was trying to be Pedro. I think that was sort of a thing where he's like, all right, I got to try and get all these strikeouts. I got to try and strike out 10, 11 batters per game. No. He's doing more than that. He's actually pitching, man. You got to love that. So, before we move on to the standings as well as the Walker Buehler news, one more word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
Okay, Kratz, I opened up Arena Club, put my own money in there, and I wasn't going to go big. I know we went over the Ruby pack a week ago. This time, I just went for the low-level pack where it's an easy entry point, $25. You can get yourself a big boy card. The Grail has many good options. I slice open the pack. We're looking at it if you're watching us right now. And I pull a card from the 1950s. Super cool. I enjoyed the experience looking at it. It's Jim Gilliam. It's a top set from the mid-50s. It's cool. It's a Brooklyn Dodger, but it's worth more than the card. Like I said, I'm going to sell it back. I got $28 instantly, so I can buy another one of those packs and try and get what I want.
Absolutely. The excitement, I heard Kip say it before, the excitement's in the chase. You sold it back. Now you get to open another one. I enjoy when you slide it across the screen there and the pack opens.
You know where to go. arenaclub.com/foul. 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase. Get after it.
Let's take a look at the standings, shall we? And would you look at that, the Red Sox in sole possession of the first wild card spot, moving a game ahead of the Yankees there. Yankees in the second wild card spot. Mariners have been ice cold as of late. They're playing, I was about to say the Oakland A's, and then I thought of saying the Las Vegas A's, but nope, the Sacramento A's. The A's got the lead. It's early, bottom of the second. It is on the West Coast, 1-0 A's as of right now, but excuse me. Going back to the standings here. I clicked out of the standings. My goodness. But Kansas City, they did lose here tonight. So they were getting hot there for a little bit, but they drop a game. Depending on what happens with the Mariners, that probably won't affect the Royals really at all, but they're 2.5 out. The Guardians, they lost again last night, so they're 3 out. The Rangers still trying to figure this out. Guardians-Rangers, this is actually a big series, especially for the Rangers. They're just trying to hang on at this point. Let's just check on that game really quick here. Oh, we got bottom of the 9th here in Texas. Guardians up by 1, so this could end up being a bit of a dagger here, possibly. Goodness, the Rangers. I was very high on them coming into the year. Thinking about the Rangers, that was the first team we played this year. So, man, oh man, what the heck happened to Texas, man? Merrill Kelly, what a waste. What a waste. We could have had Merrill Kelly, man. He could have been helping us out, but what can you do? So, let's get to Game 2 tomorrow, shall we? And listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a great spot. You've won the first 2. You've already guaranteed a split. But you're going into Game 3. You got the War Pig on the mound. Afternoon game at Yankee Stadium. I don't know what it is, man. There's always something about that afternoon game. Red Sox, Yankees on a Saturday. It's always a good one. I like those afternoon ones. So, Yankee Stadium, man, during the day, it could look very nice over there. So, hopefully some good weather there tomorrow. But like I said, Garrett Crochet, the War Pig on the mound, 13-5 on the year, 2.43 on the ERA. FIP is right around there as well. He's racking up the strikeouts, 196 strikeouts. He's 4 strikeouts away from hitting 200. How many strikeouts did Crochet have last year? He had 209 last year. So he's 4 strikeouts away from back-to-back 200K seasons. Man, oh man, Garrett Crochet. But taking a look here, going back to the couple of games he has thrown against the Yankees. So the last game was on my birthday, June 13th. That was when he was going for that complete game shutout, but then Aaron Judge just ruined all of our hopes and dreams. So this is what it is. And then I think that was his only start against... No, my goodness, I completely whiffed on the one right before that. He went back-to-back against the Yankees. At Yankee Stadium. That was when he had a tough night at Yankee Stadium. 6 innings, 5 earned, 6 hits there. He gave up a home run in that one. So let's see how that one goes tomorrow. Taking a look at the numbers here. Bellinger has the home run against Crochet. Judge, right? He had that freaking ball. I don't think that ball has even come down yet. And then Austin Wells. Remember Austin Wells? He was giving him some fits in that one. So, but yeah, let's see how he does here. Obviously, he looked a lot better against him his last time out. So, Aaron Judge, hopefully no more missile shots from Aaron Judge. But going up against Will Warren. Now, Will Warren's interesting because this is a guy with good stuff. The control hasn't been very kind to him this year. 55 walks compared to the 143 strikeouts. He's getting the strikeouts. He's got the good velo. He's got the good secondaries. But a guy that has had a bit of a hard time finding the strike zone. Taking a look here at the Fangraph numbers. Okay, I'll pedal that one back a little bit. Not a hard time finding the strike zone, but he's not pounding the strike zone by any means. 3.9 walks per 9 compared to the 10 strikeouts per 9. You're going to see the fastball. He's going to get the ground balls with the sinker. He's got the slider as well. Mixes in a changeup and a cutter. So Will Warren, it's not going to be easy. Sure, you got Crochet on the mound, but how many times this year have we been like, oh, okay, all right, War Pig's on the mound. Oh, we're good to go. I don't even need to watch the game today. I can guarantee that we're going to win here today. Well, no, listen, Will Warren, he's been all right. The ERA is at a 4.25, but the FIP is at a 3.64. And again, you're looking at that strikeout to walk ratio. He's not Greg Maddux by any means, but let's see. The Red Sox are going to have to work those counts. I think that's going to be a big key. Really work those counts early. Keep the pressure on. They've done a great job at that over the first 2 games of this series so far. So try and keep that same approach against Warren. And a guy that has, obviously. He's had some issues with the control this year. So going back here to the stats, you don't have really too much to work off of here. Duran has a base hit against him, but that's it. I mean, nothing else. So we will see what the lineup ends up being tomorrow. Now, shifting over here, we do have a little Walker Buehler to talk about. And we did talk about this last night. There was speculation. Chris Cotillo had a report that there were talks of Walker Buehler heading to the bullpen. Wasn't confirmed, but that was confirmed today. If you are watching with us on Nesson, I do have to wrap it up right there. We are out of time here, but if you do want to see the Walker Buehler story heading to the bullpen, come on over to Monster Territory on YouTube and see what I got to say. But everybody on Nesson, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. So let's get to the story here. And so this was announced. Cora talked about it pregame, saying that he's moving to the bullpen. And I talked about it in the dugout here today, getting to the quotes here. Let's start off with Buehler. Cora, Craig Breslow, they talked with Buehler Thursday evening to tell him of the decision. So that's right in line with when Cotillo did put out a report there. So Buehler said this today. It's obviously disappointing. It's the first time in my career that I've been in a situation like that. But at the end of the day, for the organization and to a lesser extent myself, it's probably the right thing for our group. And it gives me an opportunity to kind of reset in some way. I think in terms of this year's team, it's the right thing to do. I think for me, it's a situation I've tried to avoid my whole life. But the way this season and last season have gone for me, it's definitely understandable and something that I'm going to try and embrace for the next couple of months. He did touch on that he had those good starts against the Phillies, against the Padres not too long ago. He said here, I think you have to have confidence in this game. And if I can find that in one inning bursts, I think it's a great thing for everyone involved. There's some stuff about the season that I'm really proud of. Obviously, a good game against Philly, good game against San Diego, two really good teams. And I think that'll be in the back of my mind that success is in there and that I can be a successful starting pitcher. But right now, I'm just not. I really love the accountability from Walker Buehler, to be completely honest. I think those are the kind of players that you need to have on a winning team. And that's why Buehler, he's so respected. Not just a competitor, but he's not going to be a guy that's just going to make a whole bunch of excuses and blame anyone else. He's going to point the finger at himself. He's going to go out there every single time and give it his best. He's going to go out there and compete until someone takes the ball from him. And that's what's happened really in this situation. But I do think it is the best thing. I really do think that. Because to me, I've talked about this a million times, and I'm not going to touch on it too much because I dove into it a lot last night. The nickname that I've given him is Mr. Box of Chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get because that's how it's been every single start. He has a different pitch mix every single time. I mean, you go back to the Padres, like this was a guy that wasn't really throwing a whole lot of fastballs this year, and then he goes almost 50% fastball against the Padres. It's almost like he wakes up that day or throughout the week as he's throwing his bullpens and whatever. It's almost like, okay, what's going to feel good? What's going to feel good today? Let's see what feels good tomorrow. Let's see how the bullpen goes. Let's see if my fastball's feeling all right. Let's see if my mechanics are feeling okay. Let's see if the release point on the curve, on the changeup, the cutter, the sinker, whatever it may be. Let's see how that's working, right? It felt like he was just kind of going into just every single start. You didn't really know how you're even going to feel that day, right? And I think for me, the best thing, in my opinion, I think the best thing to do is to go to the bullpen, right? Go embrace that role. Go hang out with the bullpen guys, and try and find a mix that works for you. And in the bullpen, you've got to go out there and that's a good chance for him to try and find a couple of pitches that he can lean on, right? Try and keep things simple. Find a simple game plan. And then if you do get that shot to go back into the rotation, where you can bring that simplicity back over, right? The only thing I'm really concerned with when it comes to Buehler and the bullpen is just the routine. It's obviously habit for him to every fifth day take the ball and go on the mound, right? But now it's going to be a little different, right? I mean, for the most part, they do schedule out, okay, who's lined up to pitch out of the bullpen this day, that day, but at times it's random too. But I think for him, and honestly, I think you could look at it too, where it gives him a chance to maybe not think about it so much. Go out there, go into the bullpen, you come out, and you just go with a game plan, man. And you're not digging into the scouting reports. I mean, of course, they're going to dig into the scouting reports, but I almost wonder if there was a bit of overanalyzing going on from him, maybe thinking too much. Sometimes you just really need to keep things simple. And hopefully this is the right thing for him, and hopefully it ends up working out. And I think for him, obviously there's money on the line here. I mean, if we're being real, I mean, yes, he wants to go out there and compete. He wants to be a team player, but there is money on the line. He's it's a mutual option for next year. Those rarely get exercised. Who knows what ends up happening with that? But there is money on the line for him. And I think he's going to go attack this thing because he knows that he's got a couple of months here, a month and a half or so, a couple of months to figure something out because he could be a free agent. So, hey, man, hopefully this works out. But I think it also works, too, because the Red Sox, with their lower leverage arms as of right now, they've had their issues. And I think for Buehler to go into that role, take a step back, try to figure things out, I think that could actually work out for both sides, right? I think that could actually end up being great for everything. So we'll see how that goes. Now, when it comes to the rotation, and we did talk about this last night, I'll touch on it one more time. But as you can see here on Fangraphs, there's only 4 starting pitchers. You got Crochet, May, Giolito, and Bello. So my guess is Fitz is going to be the guy, but then again, I just wonder. I don't know what they're thinking his role is going to be. He went 4 innings a couple of starts ago at Worcester. He went 5 his last time out. Do they see him as being more of a multi-inning? Because it feels like that's kind of been the good recipe for success for Fitz this year. He's had a couple of good starts, but I feel like with him, he tends to have more success over like a couple of innings, right? And then he kind of starts to unravel a little bit. He's had a tough year. I mean, he's had the injuries. He's been up and down. He's been back and forth between Worcester and Boston. So, going to cut him a little slack there, right? So, but could have, maybe like a 2 to 3 inning kind of a role, be in that long relief kind of a role, be the best thing for him. And then they give a chance to say Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison has pitched well in the month of August. It's been quiet on that front. You haven't really heard a whole lot from Kyle Harrison, maybe potential call-ups, but this is the first time we are hearing about Kyle Harrison. That could be a possibility. And Peyton Tolley, we did have a start from Peyton Tolley here tonight. It did not end well for the Woo Sox here tonight, but Peyton Tolley looked fantastic. 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. I believe, was that a home run? That might have been, that was an RBI double, I believe. I don't know how they scored, but whatever. 1 hit, 1 run, 9 strikeouts for Peyton Tolley. Could he be the guy? I don't know. Could there be some kind of a combination? Maybe, Harrison is lined up to start this Sunday. Buehler's next start was Monday. So that feels like that could be a nice transition right there. Depends on what the Red Sox want to do, because they do not want to mess with his development. If they feel like he's ready, I think that could be an option. Fitz, I think it's possible. Tolley, well, it's not going to be Tolley because he just pitched tonight. So, but I wonder if Tolley at this point, he's going to end up getting some kind of a shot here in September. I think that's very possible. Very possible. We will see. But Walker Buehler heading to the bullpen. And there was also this from Rob Bradford. Let me find that quote. Rob Bradford, he's amazing. Where was that quote? Here, so he had the podcast, but this was one of the quotes here. It's hard to say these two are the winners when they all have kind of sucked this year. Walker Buehler on potentially paring down his repertoire as a reliever. It's funny because I just said that. I've been saying that. I've said, why does he go out there every single start with some different mix? And I've said on record, it's almost like he has no confidence in what he doesn't even know what's going to work, right? I just obviously touched on that earlier, but that's kind of funny just hearing him saying that, because I'm wondering, as these starts, start by start goes, I've been wondering, I'm like, is this by design? Like, are you just purposely going with a completely different mix every single time? Or do you just not trust your stuff enough to where you can find those couple of pictures? I didn't know what the answer was. So to actually see that quote, it's very nice to see that. So yeah, I mean, so that confirms it. He just hasn't had confidence in his pitches this year. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Right around 200 people the entire time. I want to thank you for that. Also, everybody, let me know. I'm playing around with some, if you're with me live on YouTube, obviously, if you're listening to this via podcast format, you are not going to know what I'm talking about. But behind me, I got some lights going on. I'm trying to play around with it. Let me know kind of what your thoughts are on those. I can switch the lights. I got red going on right now. I figured the red jersey, I put on the red light behind me. I can make it green, blue. Let me know your thoughts on that. I was playing around with some lighting here today in the studio. So, is it too dark? Yeah, I got to work on it. I was playing around with the camera and stuff today. I'm a moron when it comes to anything camera related. I just turn the camera on and I go. I'm terrible at when it comes to settings and what are the terms? ISO and aperture. I don't know what any of that means, but I tried playing around with it today. I thought it looked kind of neat. Anyway, I'm out of here, everybody. Thank you for joining me here tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, as the game's on at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So it's War Pig Day, everybody. I'm out of here. Have yourself a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.